Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the other side of rock bottom. My name is Kathy Simmons, and if you're new here, I'm a certified recovery coach, author, speaker, and founder of the other side of rock bottom, and a woman who has been clean and sober since October 18th, 2014. Before we get started, if this video helps you in any way, please take a moment to like, subscribe, share, and comment, because not because I'm trying to become the next YouTube superstar, but at 56 years old, that ship's probably sailed. Although, if somebody wants to send me $1 million for talking about recovery, I won't stop them. But seriously, every like, every comment, every share helps YouTube put this message in front of people who may be struggling right now. And if you've ever struggled with trauma, addiction, anxiety, depression, self-worth, grief, shame, or simply being way too hard on yourself, today's video is for you. So let's do a quick recap. In part 1 of Neuroplasticity, we talked about the brain. Remember, neuro means brain. Plasticity means moldable. You can shape, change it, kind of like clay in the potter's hands. Or Play-Doh in the hands of a toddler who somehow managed to get it in places that we still can't explain. Something like that. Anyway, we learn that the brain is constantly changing. Every thought, every habit, every experience, every emotion, every prayer, every single choice. Everyone creates and strengthens new pathways. Whatever gets repeated gets reinforced. And that's great news, because if trauma can rewire the brain, so can healing. If addiction can rewire the brain, recovery can too. And here's the cool part. If fear can rewire the brain, faith can too. And today we're going to talk about one of the most powerful forces shaping those pathways. And that's the voice right up here in your head. I mean, think about that. Not your spouse, not your children, not your best friend, but you. All day long. From the moment you wake up until the moment you go to sleep, there is a conversation happening. And most of us don't even realize it. The problem is, many of us learn to talk to ourselves in ways that we would never speak to another human being. Let me ask you something. If your best friend came to you and said, I made a mistake, would you say, you're an idiot, you'll never get anything right? Probably not. If your child came to you struggling, would you say, what the hell's wrong with you? You're hopeless. Of course not. But many of us say those things to ourselves every single day. For years, my inner critic was brutal. Not honest, not helpful, brutal. I grew up in abuse. I experienced sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse. Then tragically, I lost my mother. Then my father to suicide. Then addiction entered my life. Then domestic violence. And after enough pain, something finally happened. I started talking to myself the same way life had treated me. Maybe you can relate. I told myself, you're not enough. You're too damaged. You'll never get your life together. You'll never lose that weight. You'll never be happy. You'll never recover. You'll never heal. And y'all, here's the scary part. I believed it because I had repeated it thousands and thousands of times in my head. And here's the thing, y'all. Brain loves repetition. Science shows us something fascinating. The brain strengthens what it repeatedly exercises. One famous neuroscience phrase is, neurons that fire together, wire together. So let's break that down into English. Whatever you practice becomes easier. The brain is always looking for efficiency. It creates shortcuts. That's why habits become automatic. That's why addiction becomes automatic. That's why negative self-talk becomes automatic. Because the brain says, oh man, we thought that 10,000 times before. I'll just pull up the familiar pathway. It's kind of like driving home without even thinking about the route. Your brain does the same thing with your thoughts. Some of us, we've been practicing disaster for years. Now, I'm going to tell on myself here. I used to be an Olympic-level catastrophizer. Seriously. If something happened, I could immediately create 17 worst case scenarios. My daughter doesn't answer her phone. Obviously, she's been kidnapped by pirates. My doctor calls. Clearly, oh my God, I'm dying. The check engine light comes on in my car. Guess I'll have to sell everything and move into a cave. Anybody else? Or was it just me? Because the problem wasn't that I was irrational. The problem was my brain had been trained to expect danger. Because danger had existed. Trauma taught my brain, stay alert, expect pain, prepare for loss, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. The pathway became automatic. And here's the thing that I had to learn, y'all, and it might have been one of the most important things I've ever learned. Our thoughts, y'all, they're not facts. Just because you think something doesn't make it true. Let me say that again. Thoughts are not facts. The brain can generate a thought, your emotions can support the thought, and history can reinforce the thought, and it can still be completely wrong. That's why we must learn to question our thoughts. Not every thought deserves a seat at the table or a microphone for that matter. Some thoughts need to be shown the door. So what does God say? One thing I love is how often science catches up to Scripture. Because Romans 12:2 says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Notice it doesn't say be transformed by worrying harder, be transformed by hating yourself, or be transformed by shame. No, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Philippians 4:8 says, whatever is true, think about such things. God knew something thousands of years ago that neuroscience is confirming today. What we focus on matters. What we repeat matters. What we believe matters. So now let's talk about the power of affirmations. Because some people hear that word and immediately picture somebody standing in front of a mirror saying, I'm going to be a billionaire. Meanwhile, they're eating ramen noodles, dodging collection calls. That's not what I'm talking about. Healthy affirmations are not fantasy. They're truth. Affirmations are repeated truths that help build healthier neural pathways. Because whether you realize it or not, you're already using affirmations. Many of us just learn the negative ones, such as, I'm not enough, nobody loves me, I'll always fail, I'm broken, I'm too old, I'm too damaged, I'm too this, I'm too that. Guys, those are affirmations too. They're just strengthening the pathways that you don't want. So what do? We gotta replace them. Not with lies, but with truth. Next time, instead of saying, I'm broken, try, I'm healing. Instead of saying, I'll never change, try, hey, my brain can change. Instead of saying, I'm worthless, try, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And instead of saying, I'm too far gone, try this one. With God, all things are possible. Now, let's talk about the Kathy of today, because one of the greatest proofs of neuroplasticity is in my own life. I'm not the same woman I was 11 and a half years ago. The woman I was before recovery would have reacted. The woman I am today responds. The old Kathy would have spiraled. The new Kathy pauses. The old Kathy constantly scanned for danger. Today, the new Kathy looks for solutions. Not because I'm perfect. Not because I got my life together. And not because life got easier. But because repeated healing created new pathways. Recovery rewired my brain. Faith rewired my brain. Service rewired my brain. Gratitude rewired my brain. And God rewired my brain. So I have a challenge for you guys. For the next week, become aware of your inner voice. Every time you hear yourself say something negative, ask yourself, is this true? Would I say this to somebody I love? Is there a healthier way I can say it and a truth I can replace it with? Then practice this replacement again and again and again and again. Because that's how we build these new thought pathways, because healing happens through repetition. Now, I'm going to give you some daily affirmations, and I'll put it in the description below. And I want you guys, come on, try this. Give me 30 days. No, give you 30 days to be a little happier, to feel a little better, to be more positive, to be more grateful. All right? So, today's affirmations: my brain can change. I am not broken. Healing is possible. I do not have to believe every thought I think. Progress over perfection. My past shaped me, but it doesn't define me. I am becoming who God created me to be. God is renewing my mind daily. All right, guys, before we finish today, I want you to remember this. The voice in your head becomes the soundtrack of your life. Make sure it's telling the truth. Make sure it's kind. Make sure it's loving. Because every thought you repeat is either strengthening an old pathway or building a new one. And the beautiful thing about neuroplasticity is that it's never too late to start building a better one. So guys, thank you for spending this time with me. If this video helped you, again, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Tell me in the comments, what's a negative belief you're working to replace? Because I'd really love to hear from you. Don't forget, we offer 3 meetings a day. You're welcome to join us at 8 a.m. for morning meditation, 2 p.m. midday motivation, and then 8 p.m. for our evening meeting. So if you're not busy, I'll put that all in the description. Come and join us. We would love to have you. There is life on the other side of rock bottom. I love you. I believe in you, and I'll see you in part 3.